never worked out, and then after the season, that was my kind of main goal for the summer, was to get my eyes fixed, and luckily it worked well, and I blame a few of the goals and those few practices on the eyes, but I don't think that's the case there. They're good to go, and it's pretty amazing.
When did you have it?
Week and a half ago,
okay.
2 Wednesdays ago.
So does it take like a week or rest to do anything like this? So you're just at the cusp of.
Yeah, I hadn't been. The big thing is you can't get any sweat in your eyes. So, so that kind of, you can't work out or go on the ice. So yesterday was a tough one for me. I had to battle through it, but luckily our season went long enough that I think I'm still in all right shape. So I'm struggling through it, but I think it's better than any other things.
I mean, is your vision better? With the contacts?
It is in the fact that it won't get blurry if you get water in it, or if you get hit or something, it won't shift your vision. So it's definitely nice to wake up in the morning and see your alarm clock. So.
Well, what I wanted to ask you about was there aren't many guys who are in your position anywhere in the league where you're considered now one of the top prospects in a pretty good organization, but you got two of the top prospects in the world sitting ahead of you. How do you manage, the fact that you got to bide your time for a little while?
Obviously I'm kind of expecting to put in my time there and in order to get to the next level. And goaltending is a funny position that way. There's a lot of guys that don't make it till they're a little older, but being in an organization like this with two young guys, that there's going to be opportunities, hopefully, and I firmly believe that if you're good enough to make the NHL, you're going to make it. So whether it's any one of the teams in the NHL where I get my chance and prove that I can play here, but right now I'm just focused on playing in Hershey next year and improving it and making myself an NHL guy.
Do you feel like one of those guys has to move out in order for you to move up, or do you think you can outplay, say, one of them to eventually move up the depth chart?
Well, I think in order to be a successful goalie, you have to believe in yourself that you could outplay any goalie, no matter where they are. But Newby and Varley are outstanding goalies, and I think everyone knows that, and they've proven themselves in the levels that they've played at. But there's still a lot of time left, and I believe in my abilities and believe that I can be an NHL goaltender one day, whether it's next year or 4 years down the road. It's up in the air. Who knows?
What was your reaction when David Sabourin was signed? Before, he's a guy who's played 55 games in the league, and it's more like a battle now, probably, for the #1 job down there. Whereas before, if they'd signed someone else, you would have been a clear cut.
Yeah,
Is that motivation?
Yeah, well, I wasn't actually thinking about it at all. It felt like we just finished the season and all of a sudden we were signing new guys. So, but it's great. It really shows. I wasn't really sure what they're going to do with the goaltending situation here, whether they're going to bring in an experienced guy or not. So, bringing in Sabourin kind of shows that they're going to go with the two young guys up there up top, and it's great because obviously Sabourin has proven himself in the AHL especially, and got his share of NHL games, and it's always good that you can have someone there to push you, and it's getting the next to the NHL isn't going to come without adversity, and hopefully this year it's going to be a battle for games. I'm a guy that likes to play a ton. I would play every game if I could, but that's gonna be my goal, is to take every practice, as if it's gonna show that I'm gonna play the next game, I guess.
Fast forward a year to this time next year, what would you like to have said about the 10-11 season for Blake?
I'd like to improve my game, especially. The biggest thing is in a year from now I want to say that I'm a better goalie, and especially with how I'm handling the professional game. I think last year was a lot to take in because I was kind of all over the place for the whole year, and I never really got settled in anywhere until the very end of the playoffs, and I didn't get to play too much. So it's a totally different game, living on your own and playing with players that are 10 years older than you, and with families and whatnot. It's different because there's not as much team camaraderie as in junior, because you guys have to hang out together, you go to school together or whatnot. But it's obviously a great life, professional hockey, but it doesn't come easy, and that's one thing I really want to improve on.
What do you have to work on this summer to improve? In fairness to the Holtby camp, what do you have to work on?
You know, there's a few technical things. I thought, you know, it's kind of more of the straight on just shots. I was kind of not getting a right read on. I don't know. I think I was trying to think too much through the end of the year. You know, when things were going well towards December and January, I think I wasn't thinking a lot, and then towards the end, I was you know, almost thinking I had to do too much in order to earn time in the playoffs. Was kind of my goal, and it's mostly a mental game now. You know, it's a lot of the guys that are in the AHL or NHL have the talent, you know, technically and physically. It's just who's going to be the stronger guy up top, and your mental game. And that's one thing I'm going to try and improve on.
You had 5 games on the bench with the Caps last season. Did you ever think, just throw me in for one game?
Yeah, you know, I was the first couple games I was pretty starstruck. I wasn't expected to come up at all, and it's pretty amazing. But it was kind of different than what I thought. I felt a bit more comfortable up here than I thought I would be. Kind of like a fan, but I kind of in practice I was in the same, you know, mental aspect. Or you're the best one. the same, you know, mindset going in and working hard, working the same way, and it definitely, you know, proved to myself that I think I can play at this level if I get the opportunity. Obviously, there's things that I have to improve on to be an elite guy, but you know, if I get my chance, I'm gonna be ready.
You know, Jose's not here, so you're now the 3rd guy in line, and you can almost taste it at this point, can't you?
Yeah, you know, it's one thing that you don't want to look at too much, but it's pretty hard. It's your dream for your whole life, and when it's this close to happening, you know, it makes you work that much harder. And you know, basically my training for the summer started yesterday, and from now on, it's going to be, you know, working towards that goal of getting to the NHL, especially getting my few games next year, hopefully. And you're going to, you know, work hard with my goalie coach in the summer back home, and then come back and work with Archie in camp and whatnot, and try and fine-tune some things, and then you know, hopefully have a good start to the season.
How valuable is the time here in BC with Ribbon?
It's great. It's because he's obviously played a ton of games in the NHL. He has a ton of experience, and he's more than willing to share it with you. And he's just that kind of guy that if you're doing something quite wrong that you don't really know if it is right or wrong in the NHL style game, he's the one that's going to tell you, you know, you're not going to get away doing that in the NHL, and you can adjust. And you know, he's been great to us, especially them guys, and you know, I'm really looking forward to working with him this coming up here.
You have any game day superstitions you want to share with us?
Oh, there's a lot. Yeah, you know, I think every pro athlete I think has a routine, whether it's you know, very full of different things, or just one or two things like eating the same or whatnot. It's almost you don't even think about it. It's just you just do it. It's just habit, because you know, you play an 80-game schedule, and if you're going to go about every game differently and not have a routine, you're never going to be consistent.
All right, but for an outsider, what's the one thing that I would look at and say, okay, this kid's a freak?
Oh, what's the one thing? Where do I start? No, it's kind of different, because a lot of people see a lot of the mental things in goaltending, like you're talking to yourself in your crease, and that's it's kind of, people think that goal is just weird, to having a conversation to kill time or something, but it's, you know, you're reminding yourself of certain things that you have to look for in the game, certain players that you have to watch for, but you know, everything I try to do in superstitions and whatnot has a meaning, like stretching a certain thing at a certain time, or you know, visualizing. Probably the weirdest thing is my visualizing before the game. You know, I try and play out an actual game with the actions and whatnot, with no puck or no players. So it's kind of funny. People kind of give you an odd look if you're in away buildings and whatnot, that they're not used to it. But you know, it seems to help.
Cool. Thanks.
Okay, it's